Hey folks, hello again, Scott Travis here with my Scott Travis Sports News Game 3 Bruins vs. Montreal Canadiens Game 3 preview. And I'll tell you what folks, here we got an original 6 series. We've got the Bruins versus the Canadiens, and the big story going into tonight's game is the officiating. That's kind of sad. I mean, this really doesn't happen with any other team, but this is what happens when you play the Montreal Canadiens. And just to back up the facts with what I'm saying, in games this year that either Chris Rooney or Tim Peel officiated, the Canadiens are 11-1. And in the same games where either one of those guys officiated the Bruins game, the Bruins are 7-6. Wow. Gee. And oh, by the way, both tend to be in the 60% range as far as favoring the home team. Here we have a great, like I said, a great matchup. Two teams. I mean, granted, Montreal came in. Carey Price stood on his head. The Bruins weren't angry yet. And they stole game 1 in overtime. Stole it. I mean, who are we kidding? Game 2, they choked up. One Subban pretended to, he saw Thornton and dove. And Thornton hyperextended his knee a little and got shook up. I think that woke the Bruins up that, you know what, this is still the Montreal Canadiens and we hate their guts. So when Thornton was able to come back on the bench and fire them up, I think it meant the world of difference. And frankly, I think the series at that point was decided because the Bruins came storming back. All of a sudden, they started shooting up high on Carey Price, who's very sensitive to that talk, by the way. But, I mean, come on. Bruins 5-on-5 with the Canadiens. This is not even a matchup. This isn't even a series. I mean, the only concern I have is who we're going to play in the finals, whether it's Chicago or LA, because both of those teams are pretty strong. I said this before we started this whole journey. Nobody in the East scares me, certainly not the Canadiens. The only thing that could possibly get the Canadiens a win tonight would be the officiating. They certainly can't beat us 5-on-5. I mean, that's proven. I mean, that's just proven, and they're not going to do it. All their guys are in the minus for plus-minus. Guess why? Because they don't score any even-strength goals, folks. They don't score any even-strength goals. Anyway, that's all my notes I had for today was about the officiating. Because other than that, the rest of the series is pretty good. It's a good matchup. Two teams playing all out. I mean, I'm not going to get into the diving of the Habs. How about Michel Therrien claiming that the Bruins influenced the officiating? Wow, we found that down here in the real world in New England and not in some delusional parallel universe. We found it to be very amusing because there isn't any team in the history of sports, and the only franchise that I have absolutely no respect for at all is the Montreal Canadiens. I'm a Red Sox fan. I hate the Yankees, but I actually respect them. The Celtics, the Lakers, those rivalries, you have respect. Bruins, Canadiens, where's the respect? What am I respecting about the Montreal Canadiens? You haven't won anything in 21 years. And for the past 21 years, you've been diving and crying and moaning and not winning anything. So let's just say I have no use for you at all. So here's what I'm looking for. First 10 minutes, Canadiens come out flying. We all know that Chris Rooney, who's from Boston, who tries to overcompensate for the fact that he's from Boston, he doesn't want to be called biased. We all know that the first stick anywhere near a Canadian, they're just going to dive. And they're going to go down, and the crowd's going to go, ah. And they're going to yell like they do, because it's all about a power play. It's not about competing in a real man sport at 5-on-5. We have to have the advantage over you so we can beat you. But hey, you know what? I give them credit for doing anything it takes, no matter how despicable it is of an action, to try and win the game. I mean, I do give you credit. Like Detroit in the last series, I had respect for them, and then they started grabbing sticks and cross-checking our guys into their own goalie to draw power plays. So once you do things that are despicable, then I lose respect for you, and that's it. But anyway, key stories coming in. Tuukka Rask was shaky in game 1, but now we find out his girlfriend or whatever was ready to give birth, and his head obviously wasn't in the game because the series wasn't sure what was going to happen between games 1 and 2 or whatnot. So hopefully we get a sharp Tuukka Rask tonight. He's very critical of himself. I don't think there's anybody on the Bruins who holds himself more accountable than Tuukka Rask. So that's one thing you can like about him. And let's go back to game 2, folks. I mean, Bruins showed in the last 10 minutes. Oh, guess what? You pissed us off. You ducked down and you cost our spiritual leader, almost cost him his knee. Goodbye. We are done with you, just like we were done with Detroit as soon as they aggravated us. So You know, the only X factor, folks, again, back to the officiating, and I know. And hey, you know what, Habs fans out there, I want to hear from you, because if anybody's got anything intelligent to say that actually makes sense and you can actually back it up with facts and not be like a personal attack against me, which I don't really care anyway, but I'm just saying something constructive to get the conversation going, that'd be great. But anyway, I'd like to thank my longtime sponsor, my brother Herb, and his group, Herb Travis Handyman Services, www.herbtravishandyman.com. Check out his work, 401-465-2658. He's an Angie's Award winner over the Angie's List winner over the years. Don't forget to follow me at Scott Travis SN on Twitter during the games and everything in between. And this will be on my YouTube and Facebook pages, which of course are Scott Travis Sports News. Thanks for watching. I want to give a big shout out to all my new followers and everybody that's been with me from day one. This thing is getting big. I want to hear from you guys. And if anybody's interested in being a regional reporter, if you're from around the country, you want to cover your teams, or you want to focus in on one of the New England teams, I can use all the help I can get. There's a lot of great stuff to talk about. I'd love to hear from you. Thanks for watching, guys. Go Bruins. This series is over, in my opinion. And it's just going to come down to LA or Chicago. Who we're going to play. And let's hope they beat the crap out of each other in the Western Finals. Thanks for watching. I'll be talking to you guys soon. Go Bruins.